Tonight, a longtime trade unionist calling out government on some unfulfilled promises. TUC President Obi Ferguson goes on record tonight urging action on a controversial MOU. Plus, the latest on progress in Haiti. Former Prime Minister Perry Christie says CARICOM is still working to get a handle on the crisis. And later, the launch of a new foundation. We'll tell you how a local pastor is taking his family's longtime legacy of philanthropy to new heights. Our news, the weekend edition, starts right now. Welcome to our news, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Berthany McDermott. 3 years after signing a memorandum of understanding with the Davis administration, the Trade Union Congress president says key promises remained unfulfilled, including critical renovations, wage adjustments, and appointments to decision-making boards. While the government has made progress on several industrial agreements, TUC President Obi Ferguson argues it's not enough, stressing that these outstanding issues still need urgent attention.
The disrespect comes in honoring and complying and living up to the agreement. For an example, we agreed that House of Labor is supposed to have been renovated for 50th anniversary. That is a part of it. We agreed to living wage, right? These are things we agreed to. We agreed to every union where there's a pension, the union officers should be equally on that board, whatever board that is. These are basic stuff.
According to Ferguson, both sides had agreed the union would be involved in any agreements with companies entering the Bahamas. However, he claims this wasn't the case with Bahamas Power and Light. While critical of the unfulfilled areas in the MOU, Ferguson did acknowledge progress, highlighting several commitments government has already delivered on.
Some things they've done, but we're not the beneficiary, meaning the workers. Yes, they've done some things. We have said it over. I don't know why they take the view that we said they haven't done anything. That wouldn't be correct. We have unions. The government allow unions to be registered. The union in Grand Bahama, for an example, I know for a fact, the teachers' union there, they got to 700 members? So that could not happen or didn't happen before.
And following a recent union protest at Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute, President Dr. Linda Davis telling our news that all is well at the tertiary level institution, at least for now. This as the new academic year kicked off on Monday with teachers and students returning to the classroom. The union cited a breach of the existing industrial agreements and outstanding payments as for reasons for the industrial action. But Davis says that issue has since been resolved. In fact, she says her administration has been in discussions with the Union of Tertiary Educators Bahamas and the Bahamas General Workers Union to address ongoing challenges.
BTVI has embraced the opportunity to partner with unions, to partner with all stakeholders. And I believe the unions would be the first to say that we have been very open and amenable to working out differences. I think the fact that we started the academic year without incident suggests to you that things have been resolved, at least at this juncture. Will there be no issues going forward? I doubt that.
And now to the ongoing instability in Haiti. Former Prime Minister Perry Christie, a member of CARICOM's Eminent Persons Group, says CARICOM has made significant efforts to address Haiti's ongoing crisis. Haiti has been grappling with severe political, social, and economic turmoil since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in July 2021. The situation worsened with growing calls for the resignation of President Ariel Henry and the rise of gang violence leading to a state of emergency in the country. Christie shared the latest on the situation in an exclusive interview with our news earlier this week.
It is important for us to note that we have put in place what we call a presidential council. In the absence of a president who was assassinated, that presidential council forms one part of the government of Haiti. They have now put in place a prime minister who heads a council of ministers, and that prime minister has been brought from the outside, as so many of his ministers. They've been all working for international agencies. They've assembled, and their job is to put in place what is necessary for elections to be held on or before February 26.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken visited Haiti on Thursday for talks with Prime Minister Gary Conille as the country recently expanded its state of emergency to cover its entire territory. Christy shared this.
He and his government were a part of the meeting in Kingston, Jamaica, when we put together this whole process for Haiti. But the most important thing is for the Haitian people and their leaders to themselves move forward. Right up to this morning, we were having meetings with political stakeholders and discussing with them. And this afternoon, I'll have further meetings with them because it's very dynamic in what's taking place now.
Beacon for Change was among several private organizations over in Grand Bahama that stepped up to support local schools with essential supplies. As students returned to the classroom this week, the group donated a significant amount of supplies and provided a hot breakfast for students, faculty, and staff. Principal T.T. McKinsey Moss sharing with Our News why efforts such as these are critical for the community.
The government can't do it alone, and it takes all of us giving donations to ensure that our kids can do so our kids can do their best in school.
Sunless Martin, who now lives abroad, is a member of Beacon for Change and hopes their donation will provide students with the essential resources for a successful school year. Meanwhile, Central Grand Bahama MP Aram Lewis is also partnering with the organization to support these efforts.
From the Bahamas and living in the States, I think it's important to, select any cause. Any cause and just give back, on a consistent basis or whatever you have. Nothing is too small, nothing is too big. So I think it's important to be very intentional about doing it. As long as the will and the desire is there.
Sunless is from Grand Bahama. He lives in the United States, but on a consistent basis, he remembers home. And he comes back and make it a point that he gives something back to the community. And it's commendable that he would select the Beacon School. Some of the students and the institution that we oftentimes forget.
When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, we talk Alzheimer's awareness as the association stresses the need for a national dementia plan. And we'll tell you about an award to honor pioneers in the fishing industry when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
September is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association is ramping up efforts to urge government to develop and implement a national dementia plan. If you have a loved one or know someone affected by this disease, then you understand the urgency, especially with studies forecasting a 200% increase in dementia by 2050. BAA Youth Representative Durante Charlo sheds light on this year's theme.
This year's theme is time to act on dementia, time to act on Alzheimer's. So really and truly what it's calling for is for us to begin the process of really taking this disease seriously. As a former care partner / caregiver for my grandmother, I can assure you that the process was not easy.
As for taking strides to address the growing number of cases, Charlo shares the goal of the National Dementia Plan.
To provide some support to those individuals who are living with Alzheimer's and dementia, and of course to, as it relates to screening, as we know that cognitive screening is relatively expensive and neurological screening is expensive as well. So the purpose of this National Dementia Plan is to provide some type of respite center for care partners to relax and take a load off while we have trained professionals to assist them in the care of their loved ones. From there, like I mentioned before, it's about providing them with the support that they actually need.
Local fishermen who have made significant contributions to the marine industry will be celebrated at the inaugural Anchor Awards. Hosted by the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, the event will take place on November 16th at Bahamas Convention Center. The date is particularly meaningful as it coincides with World Fisheries Day. Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister Jomo Campbell says the recognition is long overdue.
These exciting awards recognize those who practice sustainable fishing, advocate for marine conservation, and contribute positively to their communities. Their stories reflect a profound love for the ocean and a deep understanding of their role as stewards of our precious marine environment. We are giving away over $50,000 in cash and prizes. To nominate fishers for any of these awards, visit the Bahamas Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources Facebook page that will have a scan code for the nomination form on the top of the page.
Breaking away from traditional red carpets, the Agriculture Minister says the Anchor Awards will feature a distinctive blue carpet entrance, symbolizing the vast and vibrant ocean that plays a crucial role in the livelihood of countless Bahamians. BAMSI will also sponsor several of the awards. BAMSI President is Dr. Ravina Roberts-Hanna.
At BAMSI, we are committed to fostering sustainable practices in agriculture and marine science. Our involvement in the Anchor Awards aligns perfectly with this mission. Our commitment to this field is further demonstrated through our internationally acclaimed National Certification in Flats Fishing program, which provides rigorous training and certification for individuals dedicated to excelling in this industry.
Still to come on our news weekend, a long-held family tradition of giving gets a major upgrade. We'll introduce you to the New Wells Foundation and their big plans to make an even greater impact on the community.
The Bahamas plays a tough matchup against Barbados. We'll have the details next on our Sports Weekend.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Good evening, I'm Tej Adderley, and we are back with our Sports Weekend. The Bahamas senior men's national soccer team hit the pitch against Barbados last night. We're going to see what they did.
The Junkanoo boys fell to Barbados 3-2 yesterday at the Bethlehem Soccer Complex in St. Croix, USVI. Team 242 got on the board in the 42nd minute with a Brandon Adderley goal to tie the game up 1-1. He would add a goal in the 66th minute to put the team up. The Bahamas was 10 minutes away from pulling off the upset when, in a 3-minute span, things fell apart. Ethan Taylor of Barbados scored a goal in the 80th minute, and Andre Applewaite added one in the 82nd to give the game its final score.
Now that was rough going for the Junkanoo boys. They'll come back home 0-1-1 as they tied a match against the USVI last week. Now we're going to get into some smash-mouth gridiron action. Prince Strawn and the Boise State Broncos had what may end up being the toughest test of their season yesterday against the 7th-ranked Oregon Ducks. Here's what happened.
Strawn and the Broncos came up short against the Ducks 37-34 last night in Eugene, Oregon. He had one catch for 12 yards to set up a clutch field goal at the end of the first half. The Broncos led the game 34-27 early in the fourth quarter, but Oregon walked them down, tying the game on a dramatic 99-yard kickoff by Noah Weddington, leading to a last-second field goal to seal the win for the Ducks. Boise's offense revolved around star running back Ashton Jeanty, who had another monster game, going for 192 yards on 25 carries.
Prince and the Broncos will have next week off to ice up and rest up. Then they'll hit the distinctive blue turf to take on Portland State for their first home season game. That's on September 21st. That's a wrap for sports and this lovely Sunday evening. For our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley. Have an amazing week.
Thanks, Tej. How does a professional athlete cope with a season-ending injury, especially during an Olympic year? In this next report, our Sasha Lightbourne spoke with Anthony Strawn, who was facing the exact same challenge.
I started to do my mental training and stuff like that, I went from just doing like one mental check-in to like probably doing like 2 or 3 a week, because like I knew like I wasn't like, I was lying to myself to accept it, but I probably wasn't really accepting it. And I wanted to make sure like I had that mental stability, especially when Olympics came around.
That was Anthony Strawn breaking down for me how she had to up the ante with her mental health care after finding out she had to shut her season down back in May. She was very candid about sharing that process with us, explaining that she thought the Paris Olympics was going to be great for her.
I was like, I sort of like built up like my whole aspects like surrounding around Paris, because Tokyo was not the best for me. Rio, I was checked out of Rio. I just came back from a surgery and I really didn't care. London, I was a child in London, so I didn't understand Olympics. I just was there for being their sake, to tell the truth. And Paris, I was like, okay, like, yeah, this is going to be it. Like, I put in work. The season before that, it was good. The season before that was good also. So this year is going to be my year. I was like, oh, I'm going on a medal hunt.
She also explained how she spent many days and nights in tears.
I'm not like the most emotional person, like, you know that. Like I lack displaying emotions, because that's not what I get paid for, and people don't really care about that. They don't care how I feel. So I tend to keep those things to myself. And like when my teammates saw me like crying, and when I realized like I was home crying, I would like cry myself to exhaustion, like cry, go to sleep, wake up, feel a pain in my shins, cry again.
Now, Anthony shared more with me about the mental part of track and field, and I'll bring you those comments in another report. Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Thanks, Sasha. Well, when Our News comes back from the break, meet Edward, our animal of the week. The recently surrendered pup now in search of a new home. The details when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome back to Our News Weekend. Another sunny day in the capital, but will this continue throughout the week? Well, meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now with the answer. Ian.
Thanks, Berthany. Good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to another hot Sunday evening forecast. We're outside our studios. We're under partly cloudy skies. A temperature of 87 feels like still hot 98. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour across the country. 86s in Freeport, Marsh Harbor, Great Harbor Key. 87s in Alliston, Nicholstown, the capital, and in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. Central Bahamas, 87s in Camps Bay and Deadman's Key. A pair of 86s in Georgetown and Arthurstown, Kid Island. 85 in Coburn Towns and Salvador. 86s continuing in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, Colonel Hill, and in Abrahams Bay, Meguana. A pair of 87s in Matthewtown and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. First look now at our satellite imagery. High pressure dominating weather conditions across our area. Looking at the tropics, we have a pair of 2 systems in mid-Atlantic. Invest 92L has about a medium percent, as well as an area just east of it. Closer to home, we have Invest 91L, and the Hurricane Hunter should investigate this area, expected to dump some rainfall across Texas and Louisiana through midweek. Boating forecast in the northwest Bahamas, winds will be southeast to south, 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. High tide at 11:58 p.m. tonight, low tide at 6:06 a.m. tomorrow. In the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution in place for you boaters and swimmers. Winds will be easterly at 15 to 20, seas 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. And in your extended forecast, you can expect some shower activity tomorrow, gradually clearing, and showers return courtesy of the northern extent of a tropical wave. Heat advisory still in place, those high temperatures getting up into the low to mid 90s, with the low temperatures hovering around upper 70s, low 80s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun week, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Well, Apostle Raymond Wells is expanding his mission to serve those in need far beyond the walls of the church with the exciting launch of the Wells Foundation. The foundation, which elevates his philanthropic efforts to new heights, is in honor of his late father, Bishop Dean Wells Sr., who shared a similar passion for giving back. In a long tradition of service, the Wells family has impacted hundreds through scholarships, food drives, and back-to-school support for children in their community. During a special announcement at Living Waters Kingdom Ministries on Sunday, Apostle Wells said the foundation will allow them to reach even more people with a focus on key areas.
Youth empowerment, inspiring our youth, helping in our communities, helping with the less fortunate in our communities, help with cleaning programs and cleaning up our communities. Also about, we're in a hurricane belt, all right, and we'll always need hands on deck when we experience a disaster. The Wells Foundation will be in position to be able to do that. I serve as a chaplain, and so we're going to be empowering and training and equipping chaplains who will be a part of the relief.
And the Wells Foundation is already making an impact, providing scholarships to 2 students according to Apostle Wells. Making the launch even more special, it took place on Apostle Wells' birthday, marking a personal milestone as well. Adrian Fox of the Fox Foundation attended the service, and Wells revealed a partnership between the 2 foundations, noting the strong community response.
I've been working along with the Fox Foundation, so we partner in any event. And he was here today, and I know we're going to be doing a whole lot of other things. I had another call today, I don't want to share that name, who already said they're going to be partnering with the foundation. Living Waters Kingdom Ministry, they are on board 100%. And so we're going to get the kind of momentum and the support that we need. God never gives vision without making provision.
In this weekend's edition of the Humane Society's Dog of the Week, our Marlena Leonard introduces us to Edward, a house-trained, fixed, and vaccinated young pup recently surrendered but ready for his new home.
Meet Edward. This sweet young pup surrendered by heartbroken owners just moments after we walked through the Humane Society doors. Head of Adoptions Fiona Moody says she's hopeful he'll find his forever home soon.
Edward is he's a little boy puppy. He's a neutered male. He's 4 months old. He's very jolly. He recently had to come back to us. He was surrendered back to us through no fault of his own or his family's, I hasten to add. He is already potty trained. He's been with them for about 2 or 3 weeks. He likes to go to the beach. He plays fetch. He's an all-round good boy. So he's very immediately ready to walk out the door with a new family.
Because I was in here when he was brought back in, was that they were saying that he's just perfectly affectionate and really loving and bonded very quickly. So I think along with him being so smart, and they were saying how good he was with fetch and all of that, that he's just a really sweet boy too. Very tired right now, but very sweet. What's one thing you want the family that ends up choosing him to know about Edward?
Well, obviously he's very kiddie friendly. So I think it would be nice if it was a family with children. He's outdoorsy. As I say, he's been to the beach. He loves to go to the beach. He loves to play fetch. So it'd be nice to have a family who have a lot of time to spend with him.
Edward comes with his crate, his bed, and a couple of his toys.
He's just an all-around sweet boy. And so if someone's interested in taking Edward home with them, what are the next steps?
Okay, so you would fill out an application form. You can do it in person at the desk here, or go online, go to our Facebook page on our website, fill it in online. We do a yard check ahead of adoption. We do require a fenced-in yard. If the puppy is not to be just strictly indoors, because he can go and live in an apartment. Once we do the yard check, which takes a couple of days to do, sometimes, and if it's closer into us, we can fast track our staff members and help us with the yard check process. Once that's done, come and pick them up.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks for that story, Marlena, and thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Berthany McDermott. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Make it a great week, everyone.